And we are live. Hi, everyone. Welcome aboard to the Tabletop Express special edition. It's top 20
Yeah.
of, wait for it,
Me.
this guy.
I'm so excited. Yeah, it is time for my top 20. If you have never joined the channel before and you're watching this, my name is Chris Barrows. I am one of the co-conductors here on the channel, joined by my fellow co-conductor, Ryan Espin. And we also are joined by a special guest when we do these specials around our favorite game series. We always get to bring someone in. I'm excited to invite Riley into the show tonight because Riley, over from the Board Game Community Podcast, has been such a friend of the channel. Riley, so glad you could join me and be a part of my top 20 tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me back. I'm always excited to be a part of anything you guys invite me to.
Yeah. I like that.
Can we celebrate you a little bit too? Because I right up front, I want to say I know I love what you do with your show, but I know Ryan had mentioned it prior, but I think you've got a big show coming up.
Yeah, episode 100.
Whoa.
Oh my goodness. It's been almost a month since I put out an episode, which is the longest I haven't done an episode, but we got sick. We had a convention. I'm self-employed, so tax season is very taxing on me. And so, but we're going to do a convention episode. We're going to talk about our experience at a convention, me and my wife. So
I think you're going to say a tax episode.
we're going to do a tax
We're just going to audit this one, guys. Episode 100.
Yeah, of course.
That would
It's
be
funny. I was on another podcast and we ended up talking about that because they're from the UK, and it turned into like the differences between UK taxes and American taxes, and I was like, "Whoa, you guys have it so easy."
Yeah.
So
taxes are never easy, but you know what also wasn't easy, Riley? I will tell you, this concept of coming up with your top 20. Like I see shows doing their top 50, their top 100s. Top 20 is hard enough, quite frankly.
And I have it.
I know.
Here it is.
Oh, there it is.
There's the
Doesn't
screen.
look pretty.
By the way, I see Mr. Rao's in the chat. How you doing?
Yeah. Hey, Mr. Rao. And a big welcome to everyone else who has joined us.
I'm going to bring you up top. Whoa.
Yeah. There we are.
You have to be at the top of the totem pole.
Well, look, I'm excited to talk about these. First, I'll just note for everybody, I shared a little bit of my process on the Discord in particular, but I will note that one of the things for my process was a little bit of pub meatball and then some cleanup. Really, that came through just going through the top 30 from pub meatball.
Yeah.
I started with my top like 60 games, and then I broke it down to the top 30 to really clear it, make it extremely clear. And then I was very specific at that point. And then one final pub meeple just to make sure I was accurate. My top 10 was the same 3 times in a row. So that was pretty clear. But that 11 through 20, I wanted to kind of double check. So
wait, so you ranked multiple times?
Yes.
I ranked the ranks.
I wanted to be sure. I wanted to be sure, and because your brain messes with you
sure
a little bit. So, but yeah,
I dig it.
But I'm excited now. For anyone who was with us on Monday night, Brian Chandler dropped his top 20,
and he's in the chat.
And he's in the chat. If any crossovers happen, we're gonna highlight the fact that there's a crossover, so you will know if it was one of Brian's, even if you didn't attend it. But I'm ready to get going if you guys are.
I'm ready too. By the way, I see Danielle's in the chat too. See Dan's in the chat, and here we go.
I will start with this. I will start with just 3 honorable mentions. These were really close to making it. They did not quite make the cut. One of them was Brian Chandler's number 1. That was Cartographers. So that was didn't make the cut. It was on my list last year. Clank in Space, which was on my list last year, just barely missed the cut. And then my number 21 that was just bumped out by my number 20. And this was the hardest decision, quite frankly. Wonderland's War. It almost jumped right away into my top 20. I liked it that much. It needs more plays, but it is a very good chance of being in the top 20 next year. I predict it with a few plays, it will probably be there.
All right.
But it's not. So let me start by talking about my number 20. And my number 20 is one that actually peeped by because I was like, wait a minute, how is this not in my top 20? I need to play this again just to be sure. I played it 2 more times. Then I played it another time. Then I played it another time. I said, this is in my top 20. I just knew I had to have it sneak by. It's played so much versus the amount of time I played Wonderland's War. And here's the bottom line. Oh, by the way, yes, I'm sorry.
That's why I gave the look, by the way.
Clank in
space.
space.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you. Thank
Sorry,
you, chat, for
They
that.
called me out on that
Ooh.
last night too, last Monday. But my number 20 is a game that you've heard me talk a lot about in the Discord, on Twitter, and that is a very special game to me. That is Fantastic Factories. Now, Fantastic Factories is one of these games that, yes, you can play multiplayer, but it has a very well designed solo mode. Brian talked a little bit about this, where it's not competing necessarily directly against you. It's just kind of competing for itself, but it's just really well designed. And I end up playing the solo game a lot. In this game, you're going to have contractor cards and you're going to have these factory cards that have all these different abilities, and you're going to be building out a factory, and you're going to want to either make enough goods or get enough cards out on your essentially your tableau. And there's all this fun with dice and re-rolling dice or redoing things with your dice, trading in goods to make trading in resources to make manufactured products. I was so surprised how well this game worked because it's really simple on paper, but it is so replayable. And the fun thing about this one is, for me, the combination of the contractors with the actual factory blueprint cards, which add all these different abilities. I have the one expansion for this. I do not have the more kind of take thatty expansion, but I play this on solo quite a bit. It plays just really well from a replayability perspective, and it's extremely easy to teach. But I will say, to master it, I think is a whole nother level. I just think it takes one, because the game is different every time, but I just think that it's just well designed. That simple to teach doesn't mean simple to win. Yeah, and Mr. Gathering, Fantastic Factory is not just a clever name. It really is truly a fantastic game. So, yeah, for me, my number 20 is Fantastic Factories. This was by Joseph Chen, by the way, 2019 game. And yeah, Deepwater Games was the publisher.
I don't know if you remember or not. I feel like this was an honorable mention last time. I think this was like one of the runner-ups last time, wasn't it?
It was close, and I think I'm only just started playing, possibly, but because this is a game that got recommended to me so many times, like you would love Fantastic Factories, you would love this game. I'm like, I'll get around to it. That was settled.
Pushing people aside with their recommendations.
Yeah, well,
well, there's so many games. I'll defend Chris here. Yeah. You only have so much money.
Don't worry.
It is funny though, because when I did eventually play it, I think it was 2 weeks later I bought an expansion. So I knew I liked it the moment I played it once.
And
you think
have
the expansion
recommended
essential? Oh, sorry.
The one expansion I got, I like because it adds asynchronous power and gives you like a little ability. So to me, that is, I don't know when I say it's essential, but I think for long-term replayability, I would get it over the other one. I just think I think it's more essential. I think you could enjoy it without that asynchronous, but I'm a sucker for a good asynchronous, like kind of company or corporation or person's ability. So for me, it's a must.
Is this a little bit lighter weight?
I think,
base game, at least.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's lighter, but again, it's lighter in the sense that you can teach this to anyone. I feel like, but to really it's always different. So you're not going to like ever truly master it. And your strategies are always going to be different because it's going to be based on what cards come out. And you can really dig into the way you want to build your factory. So I think it's just got so much replayability that I think, lighter, but it has a deeper strategy than meets the eye.
Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering if
and he almost picked it
my
up.
wife. Oh yeah.
And Brian's saying that the base is awesome.
Yeah.
So
The base is solid. It's solid. I just like having asynchronous. So if you like asynchronous, capabilities, I just think it's neat. But yeah, that is my number 20. That is fantastic factories.
Oh, great. Brian just said Azul, maybe Gizmo's weight. That would be perfect for my wife. Okay.
Oh yeah.
That sells me, because you've talked about this pretty consistently to me and recommended it pretty consistently for like a year. I swear. Solid year. At least every other month I get like that recommendation from you. And I'm like, I need to do it. I should have grabbed it when it was on sale at Barnes & Noble, like Dan said.
Oh, well, I definitely take a look at this. By the way, Joseph was on the channel for a Creators Corner. Really great. I ended up buying it after Joseph was on. So that kind of was the kicker. But yeah, that is my number 20. Now, my number 19, that is new to the list. That was also, for the record, if you can't see it on there, because I didn't call this out initially, this was Brian's number 7. So we have our first crossover officially right now.
I wonder how many more we're gonna have.
Well, we're about to have another one, actually. Yeah. My number 19 is new to the list, but it is not a new game. And I blame you a little bit for this one. No, I completely blame you, and it's in a good way, because we did an episode
Who's you?
You, Ryan.
Oh, me. Sorry. Okay.
You, Ryan.
Sorry.
So we did an episode called one episode. Only one of these exists. Change your mind. Change my mind, or whatever. See, we did one. It doesn't matter. But it was all about Caverna. And then after that, you said, but you need to play this game. And that is Agricola.
Yes.
And this was Brian's number 3, by the way. Agricola was introduced to me after Caverna's score went up, ironically, in that episode. It immediately kind of dropped, because I said, why did they even make this game? Agricola is clearly still better in my mind. For me, that's the case. But Agricola is a wonderful experience. It's a 2007 game. This game you got some.
I didn't realize my brother loved it. That's my brother. I had no idea.
That's rad.
That's cool.
Oh, awesome. Well, yeah, Agricola, I will tell you. Well, now you know. So
now I know.
More excuses to play it. But no, Agricola is this game that I had not played, and immediately I fell in love with. And I played a lot of games online after that with it. After you introduced to me online, actually, I bought a copy for myself. I really fell for this game. And when you see this game in action, I will say it is in its best case, not with this. I don't know if you'd call it the base level, Ryan, but when you add the occupations is when it shines.
Yeah.
You add the occupations to these abilities, this game shines. Yes, you're making this farm, you're upgrading your household, you're trying to fill out this board, and you're trying to feed your family. I mean, there's a lot of different things happening. It's a brain burner. I'm not good at this game, but I love it. And that's a theme for me a lot. I love a lot of games that I'm quite frankly not good at. I don't mind not being good at this one, though, because a lot of people I talked to said, no, I'm getting better, but I'm still not good at it. So maybe I'll be good at it one day, but it is number 19 on my list. Regardless, I think this classic is a classic for a reason, and it holds its weight here in 2023 for me.
Yeah, I adore Agricola. Later, Brian brought up, by the way, that he's surprised to see this at number 19, and he's excited to see the rest of this list. I think that's just a way of saying there should be a lot higher. And I agree with him on that.
Well, Brian introduced this to me as well. Like he heard that I was going to be playing it next on my alphabetical play of BGA, and he was like, I'll teach it to you, and I was like, deal. And first game, right? Here's me and Jamie Daggers, and we scored like -1 and 1 point, something like that. And then there's Brian with like 26 points. And then my next game, I'm like 26 points, and Brian's like 31 or something like that. It like all of a sudden it clicks and it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it's beautiful. Like even my wife, we've only played it on BGA, and she was like, I wouldn't mind owning this, maybe, and that says something, because this I think is heavier than a normal game for her. Do you guys have the physical copy then?
I do.
Yeah. So I really liked playing on BGA where you do draft with the occupations rather than just
Yeah,
picking them at
definitely,
the beginning. But
definitely recommend doing the draft
yeah,
variant
okay,
for sure, where you draft for the occupations and the minor improvements.
nice.
Yeah, this game is very special. For a long time, I mean, spoilers, I guess, it was my number one for a very long time.
Mm.
It was one of the games that like really just I just dived into it, and there were so many cards in the original game, like tons and tons of options that you could play. Uh, the expansions just add on to it too. Like there's tons of different card decks that you can play with, and I love that idea of trying to find the right combo that works with this particular set, based on what occupation cards you have, and what minor improvement cards you have. Just figure out that combo and making it work, but also getting frustrated that you took all that wood. Come on, you took
Yeah.
all that wood.
Oh, yeah.
I like a thematic of the games I like though are games where you do have to kind of think on your feet and be flexible, and this falls into that category. So for me, yeah, this is a home run.
Are these BGG picks, by the way?
No, they're
Every
not.
every photo we have is one of ours.
So yeah,
right?
I've been replacing pictures throughout
Okay.
in these things with pictures that I've had. So like that third picture is like you can see my car keys in it and my Ouija board tablecloth on there.
That's glorious. I love it. Yeah, I see the Ouija board now. That is awesome. But also, who leaves the fences like that? That was a messy.
Oh yeah,
fence
yeah.
pick.
Oh, I play very messy. I play very messy.
You monster.
And
Oh,
that
man.
that second picture is the Farmers of the Moor expansion. So it's got like the peat. You see the peat stuff, and there's a horse in my house.
Oh. Okay.
Oh yeah.
There's a question, by the way, and I've never done this, but never played. Is the 2-player version as good an experience? I've never done
Oh,
the 2-player
that's
version.
the all creatures big and small
Yeah.
version. I really dislike that one.
Oh.
Sorry to be so angry. But the reason why I feel like Agricola is great at 2 players. Like base game Agricola is so solid at 2 players. A 2-player version doesn't do it justice as much as like some other 2-player versions do, like the duel games like Seven Wonders Duel. Definitely is a improved version of 2 players for this. You don't need a 2-player version of Agricola. Agricola in the base game at 2 players is like awesome and perfect as is. Yeah. I don't like the that version because it doesn't feel the same at all. Like it takes away some of the. I mean, and that's the thing with Agricola. There's a lot of tension. There's a lot of like potential for getting blocked. And all creatures big and small is a bit more laid back. So if you like a bit more laid back, I then maybe try it out. Like same with like Caverna. Caverna, if you like more laid back, then try out Caverna. But I like that tension. I like that. I'm taking that wood.
Yeah, I've played Agricola 2-player and it was fine, so
Yeah.
I'm not rushing to it. But let me tell you, number 18 will surprise no one who's talked to me in the past year about games that I play. I am excited to kind of talk about this one just because it is Hadrian's Wall. Last year it was number 11, so it has dropped. I haven't played it as much, and part of that is because I solo a lot more games than I did now than I did at the time I played this. This was the game I soloed and I sold it constantly. But Hadrian's Wall is a wonderful game. It is a flip and right, you could say, on this one. 2 sheets, a lot of complicated kind of decisions to make. You're going to have these cards come out that tell you what resources you're going to get, but you're also going to be able to choose different ways that you're going to get to use them. And in addition, you're going to be dealing with having to fortify against certain attacks that are coming, and that's those cards at the top. Because your 2 cards are going to be given to you, one for resources, the other, by the way, you're able to be tuck a card, which is going to be help you get an accomplishment at the end. That's going to get you points. And there's a lot of choices to make in this game. Hadrian's Wall was a game that I bought because it was associated with Shem Phillips, Bobby Hill, and I didn't put much thought into it, quite frankly. I didn't expect to love it. And now it's dropped a little bit, but I don't want that to reflect on the game too much because, quite frankly, that's more a byproduct of me playing so many other solo experiences that it's no longer the standout solo experience that it was. Even though it's probably still my favorite solo game, it's definitely got more competition than it's ever had before. But Hadrian's Wall, for me, I could play this game on repeat for a period of time, and I did. And comes with some pretty quality components. There's a lot packed in this box, but a lot of it is those sheets. So they could probably package it. It could probably been packaged a little bit differently, but my sheets are laminated as well. So at this point, I don't need most of the sheets. But this is Hadrian's Wall. It is definitely a heavier roll and write. If you like roll and writes, this is one to try. If you've never played a roll and write, this is not the one I'd start with, to be fair. And I know you tried it, Ryan. And from a solo perspective, I don't think it was as much for you. But I know, Riley, you've heard me talk about it. I don't know if you've played it.
I haven't. And I'm loving that you did this closer up picture, because everybody takes a picture of the first picture you have on here, where it just looks like this huge, intimidating spreadsheet, the game, right? Like, but this second picture actually shows that those papers are actually really good looking. Like, there's some that art's kind of fun, right? Like, and the background of it is actually really cool. I've never been able to actually see that detail. So thanks for doing that picture, because that actually piqued my interest even more.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the actions are very obvious. Like when you take an action and it kind of that engine gets going, the iconography is really clear as far as I'm concerned. So it's well designed. Again, it is a heavier roll and write. Certainly, there's a lot more choices to make. I really enjoyed the experience of, okay, what wall card is going to come out, and do I have the right enough defense for it? Because you do have to build up your defense for essentially the attacks that are coming, and that is fun to me to deal with in the game. So that, I think, adds another layer to it. This is probably it's arguably my favorite solo experience, like I said. So, but it's got competition now. And I don't know where this will fall. This one may be in danger just because there's so many good games. And I already mentioned Wonderland's War. Cartographers fell off the list. Cartographers was my number one for a while in the roll and write genre too.
Yeah, I mean, when I played it, it definitely, the iconography does work out pretty well. It's very much like you cross off this box, whatever's on that box, you're gonna get, and it's either you're gonna get a resource or you're gonna go up on a track, and it's just that. But it's that upon check this box, now check this box, now check this box, now check this box. Which if you like combo heavy roll and writes, like this is very much a combo heavy roll and write.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. And I think it's fair to say, if you like the newer game Motor City, you probably would like this one. Even Three Sister, I think Fleet the Dice game, which is another popular one that I enjoy quite a bit, is lighter than this. But Motor City is more towards this level from my limited experience with Motor City now. So, but yeah, that is my number 18. Again, that was 11 last year. That is
Quick
not
question though.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a screenshot of your top 20 list from last year.
Oh.
And that's listed as number 7, but you said it was number 11.
Oh, that means I messed up.
Okay, I was like, I don't
Good.
know. Like maybe there was another one that I missed or something.
No. Then you just caught me making a mistake.
I've called you out on it. But I wanted to emphasize actually, because that's in your top 10 last year, and so that's 11 places it dropped, right? So
It's even worse. Yeah.
That's but still top 20. It holds up a year later.
Correct.
Yeah.
Please correct if I've missed anything along the way here with Mike, because I gave Ryan the numbers for this beautiful looking chart.
I'm glad you're taking the blame. Thank you.
I am taking the blame. Now, I want everyone to know that not 1, not 2, not 3, but the next 4 are new. After that, there are no new ones. But the next 4 are new. And I'm very excited to the list by all of them.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm very excited by all of them. My number 17 is not a new board game. It falls under that same category of Agricola. it is simply a game I had not played nearly enough. It was sitting in that like top 30 area, and that is the Castles of Burgundy. I
Mm.
played so much of the Castles of Burgundy in the past year. I fell in love with this game, and it bounced back from probably in the 30 to 40 range into my top 20. And this game just still works. It still plays beautifully. It is a game that every game feels a little bit different. I really enjoy the replayability of this one. It is a classic that is sticking around for good reason. And while other games like Catan and have fallen off the list for me, and as much as like Carcassonne, it gets played when my wife wants to play it. This game is one that I just think is it's not going anywhere. And I have the big upgraded version on the way, and I think my copy goes to the library the moment that one arrives, just so it can be available to more people in my community. But yeah, this one is a classic, and from just the simplicity of its look, which I didn't always appreciate. There was so much game here, and I hate to say that the look is the reason it wasn't on the list, but I think a few years ago that might have been the reason for me.
Mm.
And I know you both have played Castles of Burgundy. I mean, this is a classic for a reason. There's no question.
Yeah, I mean, for Stefan Feld, this is like his game that everyone like knows and has played. It's very highly regarded in that realm. I remember when I first got this, I got it as part of a Reddit Secret Santa exchange, and I was like, "What the heck is this?" And so I played it with a friend after work, and we kind of stumbled through the rules. But then once we got through like the second phase, it was like, all right, it's on. It is on, and man, like this game is exciting, and it doesn't really, you know, I think actually, so my brother's on the chat earlier. I showed this to him earlier, maybe last year, the year before. Like this game does not look like a lot, but you are going to be digging this, and it's going to be flying, and it was. We unfortunately, I don't think we finished our game of it, but it's such a solid like point salad game,
Yeah.
and the thing is, when I've played other point salad games, it's always like maybe I should stick with Castles of Burgundy. You know, like I like the point salad. Point salad, right, is the term used where because everything you do, you get mountains of points just tossed at you. You know, so that's why it's like points are flying around like lettuce.
Well, and it's fun with the dice, and there's enough randomization to it but there's still so much strategy in it. So I don't
Yeah.
that gives it the replayability.
I'm also awful at it.
Oh,
Yeah.
again, I have a history. This is
We
not
we
the
go
game
well
I'm
together
most
in this
awful.
game.
This is not the game I'm most awful at.
Yeah.
But this is a game that if I win, I'm celebrating, but at the same time, I'm having fun every single time.
Yeah.
Games to me, for anyone who's listening, yes, I like to win. Don't get me wrong. But I always describe it the first time I play a game, I'm playing a game to really get the game down. If I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. I'm not really worrying too much. I'm not the I have to win person. And for me, Castles of Burgundy, man, I could lose this 18 out of 20 times and gonna have a good time all 20 times. And I just enjoy this one. This is in your collection, isn't it, Riley?
No, I bought the new one. I actually played it for the first time because of the campaign, and I wanted to do an episode on it. I think we ended up playing it on Mr. Rouse channel actually as like one of our group games. That was actually our first one, I think.
Oh, cool.
And I actually kick butt at this game.
What?
I think I've lost once, maybe. I might have like
beat me in a
5.
game at one point. I feel like we played a game.
No.
Well, we're playing one after this. I'm just letting you know.
I'm down. I haven't played it for a couple months, and after the first play, I was like, yes, backing this new campaign. My friend actually told me this is his favorite game. It was right as I was really getting into like the community, and he said, the only thing is I wish I could I might hire my brother just to paint the board, just make it actually interesting. And they're both colorblind too. So like they, that's like, anything would look better than this.
Yeah.
So
It definitely looks
it's
dry,
exciting.
And like in that picture too, the one on the far right is the 10th anniversary upgrade edition, and it's like I
Not
feel like they
much
took
better.
a whole step backwards with that art
Yeah.
direction. Like, look how hard that is to look
but
at.
the first version looks better than that for sure. So
Yeah,
I think
give
they
me-
fixed some iconography. I think that's the only thing the 10th anniversary has
Yeah.
over it, right? Is like a little bit better iconography.
well, I cannot wait for the Game Found to arrive,
same.
and I will enjoy that one, and that will be the one that comes out to the table. So
I will play your one.
What'd you back? How far in did you go?
Oh yeah,
I-
because you can go crazy with that.
I did like the second level, which is like something
The
is
sun
slightly upgraded. I don't even know what it is. I didn't go nuts.
The
I
sun
don't
drop
need.
castles.
Yeah, I think I
That's
spent
what I did.
$90.
Oh, man.
The 90. I spent under 100. It's way too much for Castles of Burgundy,
Yeah.
but I did it. So there,
Yeah.
it's too late now. So they already have my money. But look, my next game, I have to tell you, and this is a hint if you're watching this and you know what may be arriving from Kickstarter right now. I am getting an expansion for this game in the mail sometime this week.
Mm.
This is a game that is based off of an existing game. And it's a game that I enjoyed, but I felt ran just way too long. And you want to talk about art and look. I hated the look of the cards in this game. I thought they looked stupid.
Okay.
They just looked. I could not stand the mix of everything. And somehow that bugged me. Even though the gameplay was fine, again, too long, it needed an expansion. And if that didn't give you the hint, it is Terraforming Mars, Ares Expedition. I've talked a lot about this one. And this one surprised me quite a bit, but I saw it in the store at Target once, and it was the collector's edition. And so I grabbed it. It came with these boards. At the time, I didn't know if it was supposed to or not. Didn't care, but it came with the nicer boards, and ultimately, really just great components as a whole in the game. And the art aligned, as you can kind of see in that picture all the way on the right. Visually, it was appealing. The game itself is a little different. You've got these cards, which I put in that middle photo at the top, where you're choosing what your primary action that you want to do is, and you're going to get the bottom action as well if you've picked that. But you're also going to get to take the actions that someone else puts down in that particular round, and you only get to take the top action in that case. So it takes from, a few other games in a way. But other than that, you are terraforming Mars. You're trying to get the temperature up. You're trying to turn, kind of get some oceans out there. You are doing what you do in Terraforming Mars, and it just plays quicker. I can play a really quick solo game of this in, probably 45 minutes. It doesn't take me that long. And I just fell in love with this game. It fixed what I didn't like about Terraforming Mars, which I know people love. Mm-hmm. But for me, this was a better game. And you can see it here on my list as like I said, at number 16. But Terraforming Mars won't be on my list. And this is the better version for me. People will disagree with me on that. That's fine. We all have different opinions. But I love this one. I want to play this with you, Ryan, and see what you really think of this. I enjoy it. And the one thing about Terraforming Mars is it operates with tags similar to what you might see in Ark Nova and other things. And I just think it does it really well. The concept of the tags helping you in costs and getting you value in the game and getting you points. So, I like that tag system as a whole, which is probably why people are surprised that I don't like Ark Nova. This is not my top 20 games I don't like, but people are very surprised by that usually because I really like the tag system. But yeah, this one's a solid game. I can't wait to try the expansions. And yeah, you know what? Those nicer boards are fantastic.
Sorry.
Where'd you get them? Was it part of the...
So full disclosure, I bought a quote unquote collector's edition at Target. And someone told me, and I to this day do not know what's true because I never looked it up, that, you weren't supposed to get those boards in the collector's edition. Maybe it was, maybe I wasn't. Maybe it somehow was a Kickstarter level stuff. I don't know.
I think Target wasn't supposed to stock the collectors or something.
Yeah,
or
all I know is
whatever.
it says collector's edition on the box, but it's
Yeah.
got these. So no
Okay.
matter how I got them, I don't care. I have them and they're wonderful. So
That mechanic you were talking about, that's like the race for the galaxy mechanic.
correct.
Right.
That's very much Race for the Galaxy.
Got it.
Yeah.
I've
It works in this game for me. It's a little bit different, but it works.
I've played this once and it was solo. I enjoyed it actually quite a bit. It was a longer game because it was me learning the game. I've never played the original. I bought that on sale, so I have no frame of reference here, but I thought it was great. And I've been wanting to play it with people, and there's also a co-op mode, which I think would be nice for my wife. Have you played the solo, the co-op, everything? Have you done it all?
I've never played co-op. I've played all the other ones.
Okay.
So I've
Do you
played
have-
mostly solo with this one, to be quite honest. But
Okay.
I should probably try to co-op. I never really thought about it, but yeah, I probably should try that sometime.
It seems interesting, but I guess I'm really curious with the verses. Does it feel more? I imagine it would feel more exciting with everybody playing cards, the actions, right? So
Yeah, I like it that way certainly, but the co-op mode I'm sure would be fun. This has been played probably 75% solo. So,
nice.
Oh.
I definitely solo it a lot. And like I said, I play a lot more solo games now, and this is one of them.
So you're saying it's possibly better at solo than Hadrian's Wall?
Possibly, but I've played it both. So possibly, but I do it both ways, and I like it for the mix.
Okay.
This is higher
would
on the
not play
list.
Hadrian's
I
Wall.
don't know.
I would not play Hadrian's Wall personally, to be honest, against other people.
I want to try that still with you. though.
Yeah, I would try. I mean, I would
Yeah.
do it. I'm just saying that.
No,
would
I
be
do.
like-
Yeah, because one thing when I played it solo, I was like, I want to try a multiplayer because it might be a little more with the attacking.
Yeah, because there is an attack functionality in it.
Yeah.
But all fairness, both games I've mentioned I like quite a bit. But yeah, this one overall packages better to me, and that's why it now sits here at number 16. So
All right.
Good
Cool.
deal.
So my number 15 is a game that I have come to love. It's very appropriate for this channel for many reasons, because of my co-conductor, things he likes thematically, because trains. And if that doesn't start to tell you what it is, Ryan, I'm pretty sure
18.
you already know what it is. But I will say, if that doesn't tell people what it is, this is Vagrantsong.
Oh, it is not an HNXX game. Okay.
No. Sorry. It's trains and ghost-like things, all right? It thinks you think.
Oh yeah, there's ghosts. I like that too.
So Vagrantsong is obviously a game that we're following a storyline. There's a legacy kind of piece sort of to it. I mean, it's really more narrative. But everything from the pieces in this game to the mechanics of the game, the battling the haints is what we're doing on this train. The way that these characters make their choices, everything about this game has been awesome. And all the scenarios, I've only played 5 scenarios maybe at this point, but it just jumped out to me. And this was one of my top experiences of 2022. So hint, when you're talking about my 2022 list, this is going to show up now. This is definitely on the list, right? But Vagrantsong to me, I mean, and then I will tell you, we did get a chance to meet the designer, and I don't let that impact my thoughts about the game. But when I saw how he thought about things, and when I heard from him about from a design perspective, and I even saw some of the other games he designed, I could see kind of where these ideas came from and how they came to life. And I think it did make me appreciate the game more. But this ranking is solely on gameplay, solely on my experience with it, and ultimately, we've played this on the channel, Ryan, and I have a great time every time with it. Vagrantsong was on
We
sale
need to get
the other
back
day.
to it.
Yeah, it was on sale the other day for 50% off, by the way.
Yeah,
50% off.
I was
Game Nerd.
so mad because normally I check right at 11 so that I can buy
Oh.
things. And then 1 o'clock rolled around and I was like, oh yeah, let me check this. And I was like, no. And that would have put me
Yeah.
over I have a couple games on hold. So it would have gotten me the
It
free
flew.
shipping. And I was like, are you kidding me? So upset.
It flew.
And that's
It's fun.
100% due to you guys, the hype of this for me. Like, I tried to get this played at the con, but everybody was too tired that I went to, and I was just like, "Are you? I just want to play this because these two fellas have like made it look so fun on their channel." So.
And John the Hand.
And John the
was
Hand,
off the
yes.
screen.
I have the T-shirt. I have the T-shirt with
Me
the.
too.
It says, it basically says "girl's best friend," and it's got the dog characters on it. I had people saying, "What is this in reference to?" I said, "Oh, let me tell you about a game." they regretted asking me that question.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this game. If you have not played Vagrantsong, get the opportunity, get it to the table. This was just a masterpiece, in my opinion. Weird Miniatures 2022 game, and that was Vagrantsong.
There's some love for it in the chat. I see Mr. Rouse saying Vagrantsong.
Yes.
So delightful. Easy saying that he really wants to play Vagrantsong. Loves the vibe.
Oh
yeah, the vibe is. Yeah, man.
Well, let me
when I saw the YouTube video on this, I was like, I need to get this. Like, this is everything I like in a board game. And it is I mean, look, you have to go in knowing this is not a Euro kind of game. This is very much a dice chucking thematic experience.
Yes.
And if you're going in, expecting some things to be fair, it is not going to be, and you will be very disappointed. It is not for everyone. But if it's a game that you love that aesthetic, first of all, those acrylic standees, like, I wish more games did acrylic standees like that. Like, how charming is this game, The story is fantastic. And there's other campaign games I've played where the story is nowhere near as great as it's been in Vagrantsong. Like, I love the story. The scenario design is also top notch. You get basic actions to do, but where it really shines is how different the scenarios are going to be. They are radically different, like so different with win conditions, and you really need to take in all the rules and kind of decide what's that strategy going to be, and then just go for it. And again, if that doesn't sound like your kind of game, it's probably not going to be your kind of game. But if it sounds like something you would like, definitely get it, because it's worth it. And right, Game Nerds dropped it for like $40.
Yeah. So mad.
Sorry.
I'm so mad. Ugh, heartbroken.
But we might have a copy in the future.
Good to know.
That's true.
We might.
Look, Riley, the next one I promise you is actually available. So if you haven't played it, you'll have a chance to get it.
Before we move on real quick, though, I want to point out Mr. Rouse, because I was going to say the exact same thing. Acrylic standees, like, I'm sure it's much cheaper than miniatures, but maybe a little bit more expensive than standees, right? Cardboard standees, but like so much cooler, so much prettier. Like, I hope more games just I would not mind paying $5 more per game if it had these acrylic standees, right? Like, and I'm sure that's more than enough to cover the cost for most of the games.
Yeah.
Like, it's so good. And I think that they're even more, well, definitely more friendly, environmentally friendly than miniatures. So
they have to be. They have to be more. I would hope.
I would hope. Yeah, I don't know, but I would assume so, right? It's smaller.
Yeah. Ooh, you know what I would love is if a company went through and offered, like, did a campaign or something that was like, we're gonna do all of these games that we've done and make acrylic standees. Pick and choose the ones you want, right? Like, I would back that.
How many times are they going to sell Castles of Burgandy to you? That's Here we go, right?
I did on buy the plastic tiles, actually. So, or they're acrylic tiles. They actually do have acrylic tiles.
That's true. There's acrylic tiles in the new one, but not acrylic castle.
Look, these decisions could get political, which leads me to my number 14.
Yes, let's do this.
All right.
Transition.
My number 14. My number 14 is a game that was introduced to me. I don't believe I had not played it prior to this. I can't believe I should say. And you introduced this to me, Ryan, and you said, you got to play this game. And that one is Watergate. New to the list. 2019 game from Capstone Games about Watergate. Holy crap, what a great 2-player game, first and foremost. This game, either playing the editor or playing Nixon. And you've got to either hide that evidence or reveal the yeah, exactly.
Riley's not a crook.
This game is a masterpiece as far as I'm concerned. Just the way they told a historical event through the cards, through the research, through the people that they have on this on the board that you're playing and trying to reveal or bring to your side. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't click the button.
Pull it up. The pictures.
I want to see it.
We are the pictures. As you're kind of piecing together this puzzle and connecting the dots, and as the editor connecting up with it to enough witnesses, versus if you are Nixon trying to hide the evidence, which really is just, ultimately winning out on one of the pieces on that sideboard 5 turns in a row. So it's a challenging game that you're constantly moving, your initiative on going first, which is a huge advantage because you do want to have more turns. You do want to have more chance to play cards, and that's a giant advantage in the game. But you can't sacrifice the fact that you also are trying to move the other piece up and down, and you've got colored spots on this board that you want to get out, and you're going to try which one do I want to go for. But Nixon knows more information than the editor at a certain point. So there's so many different things going on here, from hidden information to ultimately a tug of war between two people. And it's just a brilliant game. This one I envision continue rising on this list, quite frankly, because I can't see this one getting old.
Yeah, it's got all the staples of a Chris Barrow's favorite.
Yeah.
2-player, right? Historic, right? And it's also quick to set up.
Very quick.
Heavily thematic. Like, the board presented to you is very much a Charlie Day conspiracy board, right?
It is.
But it makes in such a perfect route connection kind of thing. You have that theme is incredible. When I saw that this game was coming out, I watched the Watch It Played video of it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm pre-ordering this. Like, I have to get this game. I have to play this game, and it did not disappoint at all. Like, man, what a game! What a game! And it falls in that card-driven game mechanic, similar to like 1960 Making the President, Votes for Women, Twilight Struggle. It's all in that that same genre, but you're looking at a game that at most will be 60 minutes, which is different than all those other ones.
And I love that the decks are very well balanced, where there are cards that are extremely powerful, but you use them, they're gone. Yeah. And there's other ones that and they're multi-purpose cards. You could do the action, or you could do something based on the ultimately information provided to you on the card, allowing you to move initiative or something else. So for me, it's just so well designed. And I don't know, this one, like I said, I suspect this continues to go. I don't envision this leaving my list anytime soon.
Yeah.
Now that could change, but I don't envision it.
Do you have a preference on which one you play?
No, it's always randomized. I like them both. I love switching it up. I love the I think they're both challenging either way. I think, and I think that, it's different than other games where, maybe if I'm playing Votes for Women, like I initially said, I don't want to be the person
the opposition.
Yeah, like I don't want to be the opposition.
Yeah.
But in this one, it doesn't feel that way, like at all. Like I'll be the editor, I'll be Nixon. I don't know why that is, but because it's probably so long, maybe because I don't know. I'll play either side. That's all I'll say. I enjoy both. Nice. I randomize it actually. I kind of just say, all right, let's schwazi it to figure out whoever gets this is the editor or something. So
Riley, have you done this one yet?
I haven't, and I've heard great things. 2 players, short, quick setup, easy to teach, right? Like I'm pretty sure a super easy to teach. Yeah,
easy teach. I taught my wife this one in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I think you would enjoy
this. It's pretty affordable.
One.
I mean, it's on the lower end of the price range, right?
Yeah, and it comes like in that standard like small 2-player box,
Yeah.
like Patchwork and Targi, like that same size box.
I just need to do it.
Yeah,
Let's do it. I
there
I
you go.
I don't know if it's still in alpha in Board Game Arena, but I know
Oh,
it's been on Board Game Arena for a little bit. I know it's been in alpha for a long time. I don't know if it's past that point yet, though.
are
We
either of
can-
you playing? Yeah, you can invite me to an alpha game. Come
We can
Oh,
on.
yeah.
invite you. Yeah.
We can do that. We can do it. But that is, and I thank you again. This is, I thank you for introducing me to this game because I can't believe I had not played it. I know
That's
it's
great.
still relatively young. It's only 2019, but still, it is one of those things. At this point, though, guys, just so you know, anything else on this list is not new. So it was. I'm not gonna surprise anybody with any more new ones. You've seen anything new, but most of these new ones, as you'll note, have been either older or probably not surprising.
Mhm.
At this point, though, my number 13 dropped a little bit. Now Riley will tell me if I got the number wrong because clearly I don't know.
You can leave. I can be your number. Like you can just reference me, and I'll tell you what the last one is
Yeah.
because I have it pulled up right here.
Yeah, well, I have my number 13, Ticket to Ride Europe, which last year I believe I had at number 6,
Mhm.
but you can tell me if I'm wrong.
It was number 6. Yeah.
Yeah,
you got
so
it
there
right.
we go.
Maybe
So-
one mistake. Hey, you're
Yeah.
allowed one mistake, Chris, and then you're
That's
out of here.
Ticket to Ride Europe with one of my favorite board game photos, by the way, which is my daughter popping her head in
Oh,
to say
cute.
hi a few years ago. Ticket to Ride Europe is my favorite Ticket to Ride game, and it stays on this list again this year, despite dropping, because sometimes I just want to play Ticket to Ride. I think Europe is the best version. It's complicated enough without being too complicated. And for me, it is the perfect Ticket to Ride. Now, there's other versions of Ticket to Ride. I will play any of them, quite frankly. I do enjoy Ticket to Ride, but Ticket to Ride Europe in particular, I did like it so much that I got the collector's edition of it, which has these, really pretty trains on it. And yeah, Rachel
Yeah.
just realized that one did.
Fancy pants version.
I
Fancy
know.
This one again, there's some slight differences, obviously, but ultimately, Ticket to Ride, I think, as a franchise of games, it's just fun and enjoyable. I do enjoy Ticket to Ride New York. Sometimes I want a quick game, right? Ticket to Ride New York, I think, is my favorite of the shorter ones. But Europe, when I was first introduced to this one, had enough in the more category without being overblown. And I think it's also made me learn some of those cities in Europe because
Mhm.
United States, I definitely was like, oh yeah, I know where I'm going. And then with the Europe one, I was like, wait a minute, where's that place? And I like scouring over the map, trying to figure it out. So I kind of appreciate that about this one. Now I do think this one also came with any of like the extra stuff for Ticket to Ride Europe. So you can play every version of Ticket to Ride Europe with this one. And I do enjoy all the different like little extra things that this particular version came with. But this is a classic. This is, I don't want to say would never leave my list, but when it comes down to it, it's always going to be near and dear to my heart. That one I can promise you.
Yeah, of the Ticket to Rides, it's probably my favorite as well too. And it's still, regardless on like standings and what I think about like what game should be in my collection, this one's not gonna leave my collection. Like it's just like in like a permanent, like I could always get family to play this one, and they're always engaged with it, and it's a great way to also, the mobile app is fantastic. So that's what I mean. It's a great way to play it that way too. You can play it on the go, and the AI is pretty solid too with that. Yeah, I do like what this one offers with the tunnels and the ferries, and also like the fact that with the original Ticket to Ride, you can it's just a mixed deck of the destination cards, and you could get some really high point ones in that deck. Whereas in this one, you're only given one of the high point ones in the beginning of the game, and you can choose to go with it or not, along with some lower point ones. So yeah, this is a game that I'm happy to still see it on your list.
Still there. It's dropped
Yeah.
a little bit. You've played this one before, right, Riley?
Oh yeah, this was my wife's. Well, the America one's her favorite. We've only played Europe, I think, once or twice, but we have it, and we need to play it more because I'm convinced. I've always kind of thought there's a little bit more going on in this one that makes it more interesting. And not the base one is great too, but I think
But like I said, it's just enough more.
Yeah,
the
it's just
Yeah.
enough more.
It's a slight step up, but like it's not too much. You can teach this to people who don't play board games all the time, in my opinion, and you're not gonna have a huge hurdle there. So
I do agree too that it's a cute picture.
yeah, I
It's a
love
very
this
cute
photo.
picture.
I'm sure I could have. I told Ryan I could have found a more updated photo, but I didn't want
Nah,
to.
go with it.
This
The
is
station, the stations, by the way, I love that aspect of the game too, because a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
times in Ticket to Ride, right, you're blocking. You could block different locations based on the number of trains that are going to that location. So the station lets you utilize someone else's train for that particular route, which is pretty cool. Um, so like Barrows is saying, I'm just gonna keep harping on it. It does add just that extra bit that makes it stand out as the best one,
well.
or
Speaking of the
our preferred one.
Yes. Speaking of the best of the Marvel themed card battle style games, my number 12 is a game that is better than Marvel Legendary, in my opinion.
Here
And
we
I
go.
need Brian Chandler to play it. It needs no introduction. That is Marvel Champions, the card game. Despite me not playing this nearly enough, by the way, I realized in the few little times that I got to play it, I played it very often with my son. My son is 9 now. He's been playing it with me since the game came out. I realized this is moving up because with everything that comes out, we're continually investing and interested in it. And for me, the reason it moved up is despite less plays than last year, which is a shame, I just recognized why I like this game so much. I enjoy the fact that I can take it out and play it, and it's different. Like I said, it's not, Arkham Horror. It's not the scenario based stuff. I don't care. I don't even look at the scenario book, quite frankly. I honestly have not played through a full one.
A campaign.
Yeah, I haven't done them. I just play the characters. I get the characters. I get the box out. I think it'll be fun. Spider-Man got to fight Ultron. All right, let's do it. And to me, that's what this is all about. And, so for me, that's been enjoyable. And my favorite heroes in it. I see Dr. J Game Fan asking, do I have a favorite hero? Some of my favorite to play with actually more recently I did Venom once or twice, and Venom is just plays really different, and I enjoy it. Captain America is the one I will play like every third time, but I also think he's super balanced as far as the game goes. I don't think he's super OP. He's not like a Doctor Strange in the game or a Scarlet Witch who can.
My favorite.
Yeah, Scarlet Witch is
so good.
Scarlet Witch is so much fun to play with, though.
Yeah.
So, this one to me, and I never clicked it. So there we go. As you look at this game, I do love, by the way, that Ant-Man card because they made Ant-Man a giant card because
he's Ant-Man.
Because he's Ant-Man and he can be big. So I just like that you just kind of have that card. You're the one who got those special holders for them too.
Yeah. And that was for my most recent play. I did Ant-Man and Wasp against Kang.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen the movie.
No, one of my first, and I'll tell you, one of the first times I got to play any game with Ryan, this is special, was we did Kang. We fought Kang.
Oh yeah.
Over Zoom.
We got our pretty bad.
We got our butts whooped.
Yeah.
Kang destroyed us. We need revenge.
Do you have a favorite villain then?
I do. I'll say mine. It's Green Goblin, hands down.
Oh yeah.
Which one?
The Green Goblin one. It's called something business, I think.
Risky business.
Risky business, right? When he flips over to his Norman side and you can't touch him.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. How cool is that?
Yeah. Mine's that or Kang. Both of those to me are just like
Kang's
phenomenal.
Great.
I would like to beat Kang sometime. I still haven't, but
it's hard.
I've heard really good things about the Hood too.
The Hood is really cool. I've only done one with the Hood, and it's neat. But everything this game comes out with to me is interesting. I know people are a little like, oh, it's been a little bit quiet. I have so much content from this game. More will come. I'm happy with some of the X-Men stuff that we've gotten already.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm excited, and I'm just waiting for my friendly local game stores to actually get their shipment because Fantasy Flight is not delivered to them yet. So
I know.
I saw
Well,
some
Gambit and Rogue.
people theorizing that they might do the Arkham Horror release strategy of switching it so that the game or the characters will come out in a pack of 4 or 5, whatever.
That would be
you know,
good.
which I would
that'd
be,
be, I'll
love.
still be buying it, so that's fine with me.
Yeah, like, and you don't have monthly releases. Do it every 3 or 4 months, whatever it is. I'm down.
If only there was
with
a
it.
group of 4 heroes that would work out well with perhaps the greatest supervillain all in one box. I wonder if that exists, Marvel. I wonder.
That would be fantastic if they could find.
It would be
something
pretty
like that.
fantastic, wouldn't it? But isn't that the thing
Did
about
you
it?
say
right?
the greatest though? Did you say the greatest villain of all time?
Yeah.
Well, can
I
we
did.
talk about
I did.
what is currently the greatest game on Board Game Geek? Because
Transition.
that one is my number 11. And you introduced me to this one, Ryan. I
And it
played this
dropped.
a few times.
What a crime!
Yeah,
I'm
I was
sorry.
number 8 before.
It's dropped. I know. I dropped it out of a top 10. Everyone else has moved up to number 1. No, I just didn't play it enough, quite frankly, after that initial play. But it's this game is fantastic. I understand why it's number 1. The first time I played Brass Birmingham, you take all these actions in this game, but only certain places are going, and you can describe this a little better than me, Ryan, but only certain stuff ends up staying on the board as you advance to that next and second part of the game. And that first time I played, I was like, oh man, I would have done this, and this. And I immediately wanted to play again. And it's not a short game. So when you have that feeling after a game that does take 2 hours, 2.5 hours, you know it's a solid game. Brass Birmingham, for me, the mechanic of when I get resources on the board, but someone else is going to be able to use them, that piece was the thing that hooked me on this.
Yeah.
Because, all right, I think he might do this. And if he does that, it sets me up to be able to do this. And that was what got me. And that's why this game is, it is dropped mostly because of lack of plays. This very much is in the top 10 with a few more plays again in the year to come. This one I see a hard time leaving the list just because this is such a solid design and everyone needs to play this game, in my opinion.
Yeah, this is such an important game. Like, this is so good. It's so good. It's also the only Rodney Smith video I fell asleep watching. Like, because the rules video is it's like 45 minutes, and it's kind of like, oh man, like, but when the game gets rolling, it gets rolling. Like, because yeah, you're absolutely right. You play the game twice. You play, and then you play the Canal Age, and then you score, and then you remove the level 1 buildings, and you go again to the Rail Age, and man, it just cranks up. And there's tons of different ways you can play the game. Every game is completely player dependent. Depending on what the board state is, what cards you get, who placed what where. It changes completely. There's some strategies you can go with for sure, but you really need to pay attention to what that board state, what's happening in that board state, what other people are doing, and kind of leverage off of them as much as you can too, because that's also part of the fun too. Kind of like seeing what other people are doing and drinking their milkshake effectively, Like, this is drink your milkshake. You can't
sit back and not pay attention in this game. I think that's the biggest thing. You're going to lose if you're not paying attention to it.
And there's also that tension of you want to do everything, but you're only limited to the amount of money you have. And then even then, if you have a lot of money, it's great, but the more money you spend, the slower you'll be in the next round because turn orders depend on how much money you spent that previous round. Like, so good. So good. Oh. Man. Yeah, this is a great game. It's so great that there's a site you can play this async online that looks awful,
but it plays the
But I
game.
play it all the time there because it's such a good game.
Oh
You
my
know,
goodness.
it can look as awful as it can be, but it's still brass
Well, we talked about
Birmingham.
Castles of Burgandy, so games can look awful and
And be
play great.
great.
Have you done this one, Riley?
I haven't, and I've wanted to for a really long time, but I know it's too heavy for my
Well,
wife.
there we go, right there. We go to that. We go over that. We bring Riley over, and I haven't got a game in ages, so let's solve it.
I'm
We
ready.
solved it
Do
right
it.
here. So there we go. We just solved it. Riley, you'll like this one. There's a lot to it, but
It's fiddly, but a good fiddly. Like it's worth the fiddliness. You
I
know?
don't mind fiddly most of the time. I think that
Yeah.
adds to the fun sometimes.
Yeah, it's got beer in it. You know?
I don't drink actually, so
No, but
still, yeah.
It's just so wild. Like it's a euro that like sure you're selling like all these goods to these like cuz you sell goods to these places, these off the board markets, and you shake on it by drinking beer, and then you get bonus points off of doing that. It's just and it's so satisfying cuz whenever you take resources off of the board, whenever all the resources are off of a tile, you flip the tile over and you get income and you get victory points and everyone
you
cheers.
want people to take the
Well,
resources.
really, everyone in your head cheers.
It's
you know.
so
That's
we'll,
cool.
We'll solve this. We'll play. You're going to my number 10 will surprise people who haven't seen my lists before, but it won't surprise you if you've seen me talk about this game. This is a game that I love. It is, shocker, a 2-player game. It is a game that does some weird things. It's got a little bit of time travel thematics to it, though you could debate. You could throw the theme away. It would still work. And that one is none other than That Time You Killed Me. Now, this game in particular, I remember playing through it saying, okay, what is this? Okay, sure. Let me try this out. And it looked like 3D chess of sorts, and you could easily get caught in that trap. But what's actually happening in this game is it's past, present, and future. And when you take a piece and you go to the past, you clone a piece, and so you now have an additional piece on the board. Because you're traveling to the past, someone has to remain in the present or the future based on where you're going back to. But you're also going to play for all these different scenarios that occur. For example, the first thing you do is there's all this like plant theme. And so if you plant a bush in the past, it grows in the future, and it's a giant tree. So if you plant in the past, it's like a bigger bush in the present, and it's a giant tree in the future, which you can then go push the tree over and kill somebody with. So it's ridiculous. The writing on this, the subtext of the cards. And then there is something that this game does, and I can't give everything away, but there are envelopes in this game when you accomplish stuff that open up the game more and add new ways to play. And I played through everything. And I had shared it, and the designer, Peter C. Hayward, had reached out and said, I think you're the first person to share that you've actually opened all the envelopes that I've seen. So I may be the first person who opened all the envelopes. I don't know. But I love this game. I love the concept of it. And I will say, one thing I really liked about it, and there are some ways around this, I won't spoil, but generally speaking, in a standard game, you have to decide, I'm going to the past, I'm going to the future, I'm going to the present, and your opponent knows where you're going. So you can't, say, oh, are they going to go to the future or the past? They're going to know where you're going. And the way you lose this game is when you can lose by a paradox or you not existing in one of the timelines. And I love the paradox victories more than anything, because you're bumping someone in their own, their other character, and it's like, oh crap, paradox. They're all gone. Suddenly no one's there. You lose. And it's an enjoyable game. Thematically, when you read the cards for this game, the text is so funny. And the concept is, by the way, for everybody, That Time You Killed Me, one of you invented time travel, and you're trying to kill each other. The person who invented time travel had time travel idea stolen and is trying to kill the other one. So you're just trying to survive or kill, based on how you want to look at it. But someone's trying to take credit for stealing for time.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you cut out.
Uh-oh. I think it must have been
You
the other
bumped
Chris
it.
Barrows.
He bumped it. Yeah. This is where we lose him.
Oh no,
He's back.
I'm back. Yeah, that
That's
was
a
what I
close
said
one.
was going to happen as I bumped the mic. But yeah,
You got
that's
excited.
that time you killed me.
Yeah, I want to play this again still. I've only played it the once with you, and I want to keep trying it out.
I've heard
Well, you have
very mixed reactions.
Yeah.
You have to do playthrough for at least 4 games, in my opinion, to make a real opinion on this, because there's
Whoa.
a bunch of different
I'll
things.
make whatever
You open
opinion
new
I want.
boxes.
How
He
dare
just
Don't
he
gatekeep
just,
my opinion.
devalued your opinion.
Totally.
Ooh, you gonna take that?
You know what? This game's a 3.
No, no, it has 4 boxes that you unveil. That's
Yeah.
the reason. So,
Oh,
and
okay.
I want more. That's what I've said. But
Yeah, I definitely still want to try a couple more games of it for sure, just to see some of the other boxes. Because I like the tree growing thing. I think that was pretty cute. I want to see, it go on. I know it's a game with spoilers, so I don't want to talk
Yeah.
about the other ones, but I do, but I don't. Maybe later.
Do they both play identically? Like, it's not
No.
asymmetrical. Oh, it is asymmetrical a little.
Well,
Or a
no,
lot?
the game always is going to play differently, because as you unveil more of these boxes, more stuff is introduced that changes the gameplay completely.
I meant the players, like the.
Oh yeah,
two
yeah.
players.
Well,
Is that
yes
getting into
and no.
spoilers? Okay, all right,
Yes.
all right. Yeah, we won't.
Yes
we don't
and
need to get
no.
into it. Yeah.
So that's all I'll say. So
Perfect.
all I'm just saying is you got to accomplish things, open the envelopes, gameplay evolves even more. So
Okay.
that gives a little away, but it's enough to inspire people to open the envelopes.
Yeah. Yeah,
so-
that's a big push. I love that.
But yeah, that was my number 10. My number 9 is, I would be shocked if this game was not in my collection at any point in my life, because I adore this game. I play it often. There's many versions, but the OG version still is my number 1, and it's probably my third
Number
most
9.
game played of all time. That's Azul.
Mm.
This is Brian's number 2, by the way. Azul for me was, and it says 9 last year, so we'll see. Now I'm questioning myself, but
it was 9.
yeah.
Stayed exactly the same.
Nice.
Yeah, so Azul hasn't really moved. Azul is just a solid game. I enjoyed the other versions of it. The Summer Pavilion one in particular, I think, is a lot of fun. I have the Queen's one, and I have not played it, sadly. It's been there for like 10 months, probably unplayed. But yeah, I just think this is a classic that holds its own. And as long as, you're not drinking too much and thinking those are Starbursts, I think you're good.
They do look pretty delicious.
But it's just a great game. It's easy to teach. It's not as easy to master. I feel like there's a lot of ways to learn and play and develop new strategy in this, but at the same time, it's randomized. You don't know what are going to come out. And Azul, to me, is a forever game. I don't envision this game, again, like I said, ever leaving my collection. And it's in my top 10. I'm not leaving my top 10, clearly, at least at this point. And I don't know if there's much to say about Azul other than the fact that I just think this game is designed in a way that it has enough to do without being too much to do, that I can get to the table with anyone. And to me, that means gamers, and that means family members, that means anyone. And to me, that's an accomplishment. So here it is. That's my number 9, Azul.
It's so approachable.
Mhm.
Like, love it or hate it, you can't deny how approachable Azul is. Like, it's just so, like, thematic. I mean, look, I don't. First of all, I don't believe that's how Portuguese tiling actually works. So from a thematic standpoint, it's probably terrible. I could be wrong. I don't know how how it actually works. I asked my brother-in-law. But let me tell you, everyone I play it with, like family, they all love this game. Like, this is the game that they all love playing.
Sticking
Sticking someone with the 5+ tiles is a great feeling.
But
Yeah.
by the way, can I point out, I've mentioned 2-player games all the time. This game, I never need a 2-player implementation of it. It plays fantastic at 2 players.
Yeah, for sure.
Splendor Duel, I really enjoyed Splendor Duel. Splendor, I was fine with a 2-player adaptation. I think Splendor could have used 1 because I didn't really play it with 2. This one does not need 2 players. Do never give me some 2-player edition of this. They're making a mini version of it or something, I think I heard.
Yeah.
And that's wonderful. I'll buy the hell out of that. But this is great.
I don't actually own that. I have Summer Pavilion, love Summer Pavilion. I think that's my favorite one. But I would love to buy, if when the miniature one of this comes out, definitely going to buy that version.
Oh yeah.
There's a chocolate version too, is there not?
Yeah.
It's just called chocolate, but it's not really chocolate.
It's Azul Chocolatier.
Yeah, so it's not really chocolate.
What a missed opportunity to just make a really cool edible board game.
Yeah.
Why not? That would have been awesome. And then you could have sold refill packs, right?
Yeah. Or just make it cheap enough that you just buy it again.
By the way, Rachel had a good question. Do you think it's 2 players, same as Brian? And then she realized I answered the question in that same sentence. And I will say to you, Rachel, I do think it's best at 2, but I think it plays fantastic at all the other levels. So, but I think, at 2 is probably when I play it most. I with 3, I enjoy it. I don't like it as much at 4. It's usually 2 or 3. I don't like waiting around all those turns.
That's a good point. It could get kind of chaotic, you know. And then you get the 5+ tiles on you.
Oh yeah, that's where the 5.
It's fun to do it to someone else, but it's not fun to have it done to you.
That's
it's like
where,
that Uno card, right?
That's where DNix is dropping 5+ tiles on me, unfortunately. So there we go. But yeah, Azul. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Azul is just a wonderful game. Next Move Games, Plan B Games, wherever you're getting it from, and that's a 2017 game. So it's not old, but I feel like it's going to have longevity.
I thought it was older than that because it just feels like a solid game.
It's a classic, instant
classic. Yeah, it feels like a classic. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Missed Ghostbusters opportunity for it too, right? There is no Dana, only Azul. That's the old joke about it. That's the old joke about it.
There's time. There's time. I'm sure someone on Board Game Geek.
I've seen Photoshop pictures of it. Yeah.
All right. So, guys, we are in the top 8. My number 8 is one that, again, all these have been on my list. It's one that is the ultimate, I may never win this game, but it's still on my list anyway game. I know if Dr. J Game Fan is in it, I'm pretty sure he or his wife have defeated me in this game over Zoom. One of them has. And that is none other than the Quacks of Quedlinburg. I adore this game way too much. It's there's like an unhealthy obsession that I want to I always say one of these days I'm going to buy the extra pieces, the upgraded bits for it. But then I look at, oh man, I'm gonna have to drop like $150. Is this game worth an extra $150? Yes, it is. I want the containers. I want the extra chips. I want to store them all pretty and put those booklets that you see on the left-hand side on display. This is actually one of my games with Dr. J Game Fan right there. You can see the iPad.
He's never won as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure your wife or my wife won that game. But point is, this game, the push your luck, the pulling out of the bag with these beautiful kind of books in front telling us what each of those are going to do, which visually is so appealing. And with this, what I like is you do have the rat that kind of moves up that gives you an advantage if you're really far behind on that next turn. So it feels like this great catch-up mechanic, and it does work for anyone but me.
No.
Anyone but me.
You think it works? I've never seen a game where it works.
I have seen it work a few times, actually. But
more games than not, I see a runaway leader. So
I usually see just runaway leader because the runaway leader always gets to die to roll with the bonus.
Well, the problem, and I think the challenge, and this is why this game would never be number 1, is it is luck. It is luck.
Sure.
And it's more luck. But that's not a problem to me. So if you don't like luck, you're not going to like this game. But, with that last turn, there's nothing better than the feeling I imagine for someone on that last turn of just pulling all those things to like pull ahead and seal the victory. I on the last turn have a habit of pulling all of the wrong ones and suddenly busting like within 5 pulls.
Yeah, the cherry
And
bombs, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
the cherry bombs. But I do like again that build up, and this is the reason why I say Wonderland's War is going to move up on my list because of a game like Quacks. I know it's got a few things I like from Quacks in it, with some other things I really enjoy. So I envision these kind of coming towards each other. And if you get my drift, and I see Quacks dropping a little, Wonderland's War moving up, because I think Wonderland's War has some things that I really like that are a little bit different than Quacks, because they're very different games outside of the bag building and adding the area control and stuff. So not that I wanted to talk about Wonderland's War, but it's hard not to, because that's the reason I think Wonderland's War will be on the list next year, and Quacks might drop, because these will compete a little bit with each other. But Quacks leaving the list or leaving my collection, both I don't think will occur, even if Quacks drops down a little bit.
Rachel's saying that she has the fancy pants pieces for this as well, including the containers, and it is worth it,
Oh,
even with pricey shipping and rate
Yeah.
changes
Oh,
to
wow.
Australia.
yeah.
I have it too, and I love it. The bags, I think, are one of the bags and the tokens are the best upgrades, because then you don't get stuck in the corner, right? Like you get the
Yeah.
little cardboard chips, and even the plastic ones get stuck in the corner of those little
Yeah.
dinky black bags that they have. And so I think that's so worth it. And then the containers are definitely awesome, but like that should be the third priority.
Yeah. And Rachel does ask if I have any of the expansions. I have played both expansions. I do enjoy them both. I like also the ability to expand a little bit and have a spot where the stuff like can keep going or dump into with the one expansion. I like the little
Alchemist?
extra witch abilities.
Yeah.
The extra witch abilities and stuff are interesting, but at least they're available to everyone, so it's not like an asynchronous thing. So I'm more about the expansions for the more and more variants that you can add in terms of the bag building, and that's the reason I like the expansions, quite frankly, is when I can add more into the bag building perspective. Those are the parts of the expansion that matter to me.
Yeah, I haven't done any of the expansions, and I also haven't done any of the other spell books. Like I've only done the base.
You've only done the base
spell
game
books.
one? Oh,
yeah.
We'll solve this. Don't worry.
Yeah, I know. That's why. I sold my copy because I know, like, I know you have all of the blinged out copy and have everything with it. So I'm like, no problem.
I haven't played the Alchemists one, and you are literally the first person I know that has played it. Like every time I talk about it, they're like, I'm not really interested. I'm happy with the Witch's Brew, which I love that one too.
The Alchemist, I've only played the Alchemist once though, so I don't want to speak too heavily to it. Witch's Brew is fine. But again, I like the more stuff. The anything to add to the bag building part, it's fine with me. That's the way I work.
You just resorted.
I know. I resorted it. Isn't that a neat new feature that Ryan made?
It's not a new feature.
Nice.
Yeah. But that's Quacks. That is Quacks. I love Quacks. That is my number 8. Speaking of games that I don't think I win all the time. In fact, Rachel destroyed me in this the other day. My number 7 is a game that has a little bit of everything I like. You got worker placement. You've got deck building. It's just a real joy for me. And I have to play again with the actual expansion.
Me too.
Because I know how much it upgrades the game. And that, my friends, is the Lost Runes of Arnak. This is a 2020 game. This is a beautiful game. This is one of those games that, not sorry from Rachel, by the way. This is one of those games that I just always want to play. I mean, and I that's not every game. The idea of this game with the set of cards that I get to build up a deck to try and accomplish what I need to do, but I have limited resources in all regards. And there's a research track in this game, everybody, that I'm trying to move up because there's major points in the research track. Now with the expansion, there's more research tracks. There's more challenging research tracks as well. But there's also monsters I can fight to get some points. And in the end, it comes down to the research track. And I stress that. But I think that this game is just well designed. I know that we've got more goodies coming to this one. They were talking about that the other day, the expansion to that, which is, gonna be an instant buy, quite frankly. But this one, and I know Ryan, you got some upgraded bits for this. This falls in a category. Let me stress this. I don't own a lot of games that Ryan owns because we tend to share our collection with each other. It's easier. We don't need to spend as much money. Plenty of reasons, right? I own this game. Ryan owns this game. I will upgrade my bits just like Ryan did because I want this copy in my house that I can play at any given time. And that's Lost Ruins of Arnak. If you've never played this game, such a great game. And if you like deck building, worker placement, kind of that mix, which has become pretty popular and well done, this is one you need to play.
And this was number 10 last year.
It is number 10.
Yeah. So, number 10.
Yeah. What are the upgraded bits? I'm not sure what they are.
So I was curious one day and I Googled, can I find a compass that is the size of the compass in this game? And sure enough, on Amazon, they sold compasses that were like the size of the one. So in my copy, I have legit functional. I mean, I don't know if they're really truly functional, but they're supposedly functional compasses that are the same size as those tokens.
I've thought about that same exact thing. So, oh my gosh, now I have to go buy it. Of course.
Should. You absolutely should. I really wanted to get. I still haven't done it, but the magnifying glasses. I want to replace them with like Lego magnifying glasses and have them different player colors too, because those are like the perfect size for it too. I haven't done that yet, but I want to do that at some point. It's
definitely a DIY thing in some cases, but or just search eBay, or not eBay, but like Etsy. But and they don't even need it. Here's the thing: this game has really great components, but because they're such good quality, there's certain ones that I wish were slightly better. And that's kind of really what that's about. But
I've seen people do like a little wash on the tablets to give it that old look. And I think that'd be great to do.
Board Game Grand did that, and I'm like, why have I not done that? You don't even have to prime them. You just have the wash
and done.
Yeah, like, you know what? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that in the next 2 weeks.
There you go.
Awesome. I want photos.
Yeah, I upgraded my rubies to real rubies.
So. What? There you go. There you go.
That's how much I love this game. No.
Not just you up the price of the game when you drop the real rubies in it. Oh man.
Yeah, I still haven't played with the expansion, and I have it. I just haven't played with it.
Same. I've had it for like probably at least 6 months, and I just haven't been able to get it played.
We did a group pre-order, right? It was me, you, and Squirrel did a group pre-order.
Yeah, we did a group pre-order, and then
And I still haven't touched that copy. It was just like where was it from, like Game Nerds or something? Yeah. You know.
By the way, they're holding it to you. So So drop it on Twitter and in the Discord. That's where we're gonna be looking for.
Which, by the way, I've mentioned this to Barrows before, and we're gonna do. I think you and I are doing a challenge for sure, but I'm gonna try my best to play every top 20 game in all of these lists that I haven't played yet, which right now, Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition is the only one on this list I haven't played yet.
Yeah.
No.
But like on Brian Chandler's, there's a whole bunch of them I got to play.
Are you going to play them from like now until a certain time?
Yeah, until like next year, next March.
Okay, so you'll get all 20 of these played at least once.
No. So anything I haven't played yet here.
Yeah.
Across all top 20s.
He's going to prep all top 20s, and then we're going to play each other's top 20s and talk about like, here's what my rank of your top 20 is, and having some fun with this. So,
nice.
We're going to have some fun with these lists. But yeah, Lost Ruins of Arnak, it's on the list. It's not going anywhere. By the way, Rach, I brought this up before. The Leaders expansion is awesome. And
easy saying it's great at solo with the leaders.
Yeah, and Rachel likes the Falconeer. So I figured out that you could make it out that some of those people are the Avengers, because if you look at, you got a real leader, you got a Falconeer, Falcon. Come on, like
I'm still waiting for, because like, here's the thing too. I was immediately on board with this game because I really want there to be like an amazing Indiana Jones board game. This is not Indiana Jones the board game. Don't let the hat meeples fool you. Uh, However,
look.
I'm hoping with the new movie, Fantasy Flight, just bring me one amazing solo Indiana Jones game. That's all I want. That's all I want.
Ryan, in
Sorry.
the meantime, Brian is on for playing your top 20.
All right. Look at
So there you
that.
go.
See? There you
Brian's
go.
back, too.
We're all gonna do it.
There we go. We're having some fun.
Sweet.
In the meantime, I am going to do one of these games, number 6, then you're going to have to play, my friend. And we've talked about you playing this game finally.
Oh yeah, because you're gonna play mine.
Because I'm going to play yours.
Yeah.
And that is Imperial Centers, Empires of the North. This was number 4 last year, dropping to number 6, but still in a great position. I love this game. This was one of the rare games I actually played solo prior to. I love the fact that, and I have all the expansions, but I love the fact that each of these decks of settlers plays differently. So when you're playing the game, I can play as a settler that's harder than another. For you, like you could play a beginner one, I could play a more difficult one. So you can balance games a little bit. I wouldn't do that necessarily with you, but with my kids, that's been a great way to do it. This is a game where you've got that. It's not really a rondel, but it's, you have an actions that you're taking in the middle that you're playing your pieces on, and you've got limited choice of actions each round. You've got to feed your boats to go to the not local islands, so the distant islands, and the distant islands have some nice advantages. So you don't even have to send boats out at all. All of these actions are based, by the way, on the cards you're playing, and you're building a tableau of cards that have abilities, that get you resources, that have ways to trade them in. And for me, this game, it just plays differently every time based on the combination of factions, based on the order of the cards you're getting. And you need to be really strategic in the way you're kind of targeting what you're going to do next. Strong resources, strong components in this game. It's just a fun series. I am going to tell everybody right now, I have not played the original Imperial Settlers, and I don't really, I could go to it and play it, but Empires of the North for me is a game I fell in love with, and it really hasn't left that love department. Like I think this game is a joy to play, and I've played it with my family. I've played it with gamers. It does fall into this area where you could start really getting strategic about it, I guess, if you knew all the cards. But I play with all the different settlers and just try different things every time. So I'm always having fun playing in a new way, and a really enjoyable game. I think it is very easy to kind of pick up how to play, but in terms of mastering it, I think that it offers a lot of longevity and replayability, and it's still here in my top 10. So I think that speaks to that a little bit for me.
Yeah, I want to play this one.
Same.
That.
I don't think this surprises anyone on my list because it's been here and it wasn't dropping off. This one was not going to drop off. But yeah, that is Imperial Settlers Empires of the North. There is, by the way, a solo game that they came out with, and I did not jump on that. I do like to play this with people more, though I do sometimes play these solo campaigns that people have designed online, and they're kind of fun.
How long is the game to play? What's the game time on this?
I mean, you could probably play. I think once you know it, games probably take an hour for me, but my family and I probably a little bit more of an hour because there's 3 of us.
First game, me and you, how long will it take?
Hour to an hour 15.
All right, tomorrow. There you go.
There we go.
Ooh,
okay.
Look at that. I like Dan's question is one of the West Kingdom games, because I always think that, and it's not. It's not related at all, right?
Oh, no, right, because Empires of the North.
I think that's because you had asked about top 5 predictions.
Oh.
Yeah.
By the way, Rachel also loves Empires of the North too.
Yeah, and I adore this game. Rachel, if we ever have I would love to actually get to where she is. So if we ever get a chance to play a game together, let's put this on the table because I would love
Yeah,
that.
we and Barrows and I have been talking about this one a lot in particular because I watched a rules video on it, and I felt I really want to play it. I think I would enjoy it, but I really also want to show you right after this one. We play this one, not tomorrow, but
Right.
Imperium. Imperium Classics, Imperium Legends. I feel like it scratches a similar itch, and does it in that same thing where you play as different factions and you
Yeah.
know you have your own preset deck and all that. But it's more of a deck builder.
I am excited to try that one. This one definitely scratching the itch as well. But yeah, great. I'm looking forward to that, and I appreciate your interest in trying it too because I do think you'll like it. And like I said, I just think I have all the expansions too, so I've gotten anything and everything that's come out. The part of it joy for me too is that going and exploring the islands and getting more goods to come back to put into my system. We are going to my top 5. I'm happy to see what people predict. I'm seeing a Targi prediction.
Two
Yeah, we got a
Targi.
lot of Targis. And
One of the
West
West Kingdom
games.
games is a prediction. I will note there was a question earlier of the games that left, and I can tell you, Rolling Realms left. I enjoy Rolling Realms, but I primarily solo it, so it fell off for the exact same reason I mentioned some other games.
That's on Brian's list too, Rolling Realms.
Yeah, that was on, but that dropped off my list. Clans of Caledonia dropped on my list. I have not played it. It's a wonderful game. I have not played it.
In a while.
Yeah. No, it's like in 3 years I haven't played it.
Yeah.
Like it barely held on. And then Cartographers was on that list, and Clank and Space was on that list. So that's 4 of them right there. So
what? I couldn't hear the last one. What was it?
What?
Oh yeah,
What was it? Cartographers and something else? I couldn't hear it.
Clank in Space? Oh, Clank in Space.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Sorry,
I got confused with another game.
No, I know. It's fun.
Yeah, we got some more. Oh well, I guess Easy's just saying Yokohama is the #1 game he played with you.
Oh, that was. I won't say it's in my top 5, but I do enjoy the game.
I'm happy that Easy got a copy too.
Yeah.
That made me feel good.
So let me get into those top 5. My number 5 is one that someone actually just mentioned, and it will be no surprise to people that this is in my top 5. It did drop for number 2.
Raiders of the North Sea.
Raiders of the North Sea is Shem Phillips' game. I do love me a Shem Phillips game. And Raiders of the North Sea is a game that with the base game, it's easy to teach. I can show it to anybody. It looks great. I think it's a lot of fun. It I have found isn't enough for some people. That said, I'm not just talking about you. But this is a game I play with all the expansions. The collective of all those expansions, there is so much game here, and it excites me. And it adds the beer, quite frankly, which I think is important. I like this game because in this game, we are building crew. We are going out. We're collecting resources and glory. Sometimes we're dying. We're going to get those points for those people and Vikings who died accordingly, because that is right. They go on and they celebrate in death, and we get victory points for it. This is also a game that for me, it had some different mechanics, like place a meeple, remove a meeple, and you take both those actions. The art speaks to me. The board looks gorgeous. It just has every aspect that I'm looking for in a game. Now, from a gameplay mechanic, it does not take that long to play. I can play a game in an hour 15 to an hour and a half. My son, the first time he played this was 6 or 7 years old. I was able to teach him, and he edged out me and won. And I was the proudest dad in the world that day. That moment alone makes this game etched in history for me. But I just love this game, and I think there's a ton in it that makes it stay in my top 5. I don't know if it drops much more below 5 unless I don't play it, quite frankly. I think other games would have to be played a lot for me to bounce this out, but It's sleeved. I got the collector's edition. You building a crew and going and sailing out as a Viking, rolling some dice, and ultimately celebrating victory. That there's a joy in that. Champions of Midgard, I will note, if you were to talk to me 10 years ago, or not 10 years, whenever Champions of Midgard came out, Champions of Midgard I really did love, but ultimately I stopped playing Champions of Midgard, even though it's a very different game, the moment I got Raiders of the North Sea, and I never went back, and then we sold that collection. I sold that out of my collection, and it's in good hands now. It's in great hands right now. But that said, Raiders of the North Sea, that is my number 5. It was my number 2 last year. Shem Phillips is the designer on that one, and that is a 2015 game.
Riley, have you played this one?
I haven't, and every time I go to SaltCon here in Utah, it's one that I'm like always looking for in the library because I know that they have it, and I never ever see it there. I always see it on a table being played, and I'm just like, oh, okay, all right, oh, I see you, like one of these days. And I would love to play this game.
So if we do another Change My Mind episode, I guess this is going to be it. This is because
this is our most divisive.
Yeah, this is the one we disagree on the most.
Wow.
Yeah.
I played it once, 2-player base game.
Oh well, that was a mistake right there.
All right,
it's not a 2-player game.
It was an incredible grind. Grind. When you just said about placing the worker and removing the worker, that was, what a grind. Sorry.
It's also
we'll play it. We'll play it. I have to play it. I'm going to play it with you this year. It's this year.
And the expansions. You agreed
with all the expansions.
Yes.
You get, if it's not going to be 2-player, happy to play with multiple people.
We'll bring in Anthony or someone else.
Dr. J wants to play. Look at that.
The app is fantastic, by the way. If you've never played this game and you get the app, I'm happy to engage with people in the app. I have it on Steam as well. I think I own it in any way possible. So, happy to play it.
Gamers of North Jersey. There you go. I do dig that. Oh man, I would really find that funny if there was like a Shem Phillips like New Jersey edition. Sorry,
I don't know.
There's like the shore, right? Instead of like,
it would
right?
work.
And so Wayfarers of the Shore, I guess would be.
Oh man.
Sorry.
Well,
all right.
No,
Very
that's
regional.
okay. That's okay. I'll allow it. Look, I will say my number 4 is a big game in terms of time dedication, but my number 4 is also a game you need people who are dedicated and really interested. I think if you have people who are uninterested in my number 4, the game experience is gonna suck.
Mm-hmm.
And that is an amazing game that you can re-implement it, and I don't care. It doesn't make it. Cthulhu don't make you interesting. That's Battlestar Galactica. This game is glorious. I enjoy this every time I play it. I've never had a bad play of it, but I know I could. Again, if there had one person who just didn't really get into it, or even with one grumpy person, I've had an experience where someone's like, I can't believe you did that, and got annoyed. But ultimately, we had a great time. And I think Battlestar Galactica, there are hidden traders in this game. There's Cylons. And in this game, the Cylons are going to work to destroy it. It makes it we cannot make all the jumps we need to make to find victory. But we are going to make decisions in this game on who we think is the Cylon. And it's such a fun experience just getting into these roles. I mean, I legitimately, in one of the games I played, and you were there, Ryan, me and one person, we both were getting, I think, annoyed with each other because we thought the other was a Cylon, and I put one of them in the brig, and I'm pretty sure it almost cost us the game because he was not a Cylon. Now, in all fairness, he had more odds of being the Cylon because of his character.
Yeah, his balls are.
He was more likely to be a Cylon, so the logic was there. But yeah. Oh, and Deanix is right. The expansions are rare and expensive. So I have the first expansion. My dream is to get the full complete set. I don't need boxes. I don't care. I just want the stuff, even if I never play with them. I just want all the stuff. But yeah, they're so hard to get. And that's one of the downfalls of this game is it's probably never made again, right? This IP
Yeah.
isn't
I
available.
I
And
wonder actually because they are doing a reboot of Battlestar Galactica. I wonder if that might generate enough interest for them to be like, "Hey, we have this." Well,
Mm,
I imagine not because they did the Cthulhu thing, but
yeah.
I don't know.
I have 2 expansions that I do not have. If anyone ever sees them at a good deal, tell me because it's the last 2. But yeah, I'm happy to own the one because I don't have a box for it. I just got the pieces for the cost of retail. So I was like, yep, I'll take it because they sell for like $200. But yeah, it's a great game. It's a great experience. Go in ready to be blaming someone for ruining the turn and causing chaos. And you're a Cylon. No, you're a Cylon. Hey, I think he's a Cylon. It's great. It's
So-
just joyous.
Question for you because
Yeah.
I've never actually asked this: is how complex is it? Like, because that aspect of like it's essentially kind of like a werewolf game going, right? Like my wife loves that, but what are the mechanisms of it?
Is she into the show?
She's never watched it.
Okay, because I'll tell you this: this game is such a great like thematic to board game experience, and if you are a fan of the show, like you should really try this one out, especially with the right group. And if you play with enough people, like because you want to play with at least 5,
Yes.
for sure. So if she's gonna join in, I think if you have the right group with people that have played it before, people that like this kind of werewolf kind of thing, or if you play like Shadows over Camelot, it has a little bit of a vibe there. But it the theme just sings where the complexity is kind of like whatever because there's so much table talk that a lot of the rules complexity can just be talked out. It's not like there's a lot of decisions you need to make by yourself. The cards are very clear in telling you when to play something. At least, especially in the base game, they're very clear with telling you when you can play.
Can I also be clear? The base game, honestly, is enough. Like if you get a hold of the base game, you're gonna have a great experience. Like I don't know that at a certain point the expansions add a lot of unnecessary. I'm told. And so it's more
because they go into like the later season stuff.
Yeah,
like the
you
Final
get
Four and all that.
And you know, if you don't like the show, it could be a potential hard sell. I can see that because it really is so thematically perfect. It's like if you liked Star Trek and you tried to get someone to play Star Wars Rebellion, they didn't really like Star Wars Rebellion game. I also think like that's thematically engaging. This one though, you've got 5 people having to talk to each other, blame people for things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like this is even more so. You really got to have buy-in. But it's a joy. It's a joy to play this game for me. And if anyone ever wants to play it, like this is the one long game at a con.
Yeah, I always see this at conventions. Even now, I still see this game at conventions.
Yeah, I saw it at the last con I went to, and it was sitting there in the library, and I was like, "Whew, yeah, I want to."
Well,
I know.
I'm going to put this question out. I am interested in what people think are the number one are going to be. So feel free to drop it in chat. I'll be very interested. I see 14, 15 of you guys here now, so I would love to see what you all think.
I do have to say, by the way, for Battlestar, my mind always goes to one particular copy of Battlestar Galactica out there. There is a podcast called Flip the Table, which is a fantastic podcast that's no longer around. And at the end of its run, the fans of Flip the Table got a copy of Battlestar Galactica for them as a gift, but replaced all the characters with Muppets. And there is a Muppet edition of Battlestar Galactica out there. So I know, they're friends with Board Game Blitz, that the other podcast as well too with Ambient Crystal. So if you ever go to like Granite Game Summit in New Hampshire, that copy will be there.
That's our goal next year. We get there, we play the Muppet version.
That's the way to do it. I mean, Chris. He might. They come down at PAX Unplugged every year.
Yeah,
too.
We got to reach out
because Flip Flory still does his podcast too. So yeah, it'll happen.
Oh, well, hi to my wife. By the way, my wife, I guess, is in here watching. So
Oh,
Hi, Kimmy. She's not chatting with us, but she sent me a creepy text.
Well,
hi, Kimmy.
well, look, I have to tell you guys, we're down to the top 3. I'm seeing prediction. My Little Pony deck building. I still haven't played this. I talk about wanting to play this all the time because I haven't played all of them. Oh, look, there you go.
My
There she
wife, she
is.
said hello.
Hello.
She loves me. She really loves me.
Thanks for being here.
Jamie, next year. This year, rather. Right?
Yeah.
We can do it.
Yeah,
We can do it.
we got a copy.
Battlestar.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're actually talking about going. So
Well, there we
Whoa.
go, right there.
Whoa.
She actually.
Oh, I love.
Hold
Don't
on, let
Wake
me reply
Daddy.
to that.
That's a good one. I love that
Don't Wake
one.
Daddy's number 1.
Oh,
No,
man.
Don't Wake
Good
Daddy
one.
is a real life game for me.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a real life game for me. Oh man, I don't know. We're gonna have a lot of call-ins for we have a game, no problem. It was like at PAX Unplugged. But look, I want to talk about my number 3. My number 3 is a crossover with Brian Chandler.
Oh.
Yes, my number 3 has moved up. I love this game,
I think I know.
and that is
Yeah.
Cascadia.
Mm.
Now, this game, I knew I loved it a lot. My wife enjoyed it. My family enjoyed it. This gets played all the time. When we think about a game that we want to play that's more than just a quick game, it has a little bit of meat to it, a little bit of strategy, a little bit of thought. This is a game my wife wants to play. And I ended up playing it a lot because of her interest in this game. And I realized how much I liked it. It is my favorite of the Calico, Verdant, Cascadia kind of trilogy of sorts. And for me, this game has a perfect balance. It strikes a perfect balance for me of replayability, ease of getting it to the table and setting it up, cleaning it up even, but the gameplay at its heart, it's just fun. I enjoy it. There's enough strategy, and you could call it light, like a lightweight game towards the like maybe lower medium light. But for me, I don't care what you call it. I call it a great game, and the design on this one to me was just it's interesting. Throw the theme out. And I mean no insult on the design here because Randy did a great job with it. I recommend it's meant to take where it's meant to take place. Brian talked about this, but just the way this game plays, it's just strong. I think about this as nature, getting the animals in their place, ultimately organizing your pieces in the most effective way. But yeah, for me, this one is my number 3. I don't know if it can go higher than number 3, but we'll see. But this one, I think everyone should play. And I just think honestly, this is a game that I don't think is going anywhere anytime soon. And as I said, best of those 3 for me. Verdant, actually, quite frankly, I've only played Verdant twice. It's my least favorite of that 3. I really do like Calico, but Calico is not top 20 material for me at this point.
Yeah, it's interesting. This was your number 11 last year. So
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, so that's what I mixed.
That's the mix up.
That's the mix up.
Yeah, your 7 and your 11 got swapped. But yeah, so Cascadia is great. I saw Amir in here saying Chris already influenced me to buy my mic. Now he's influencing me to buy this game. Almost every time I've played this, I think actually we played this with my wife's sister, and they bought it before we finished the game. It's like that's how good this game
at the
is.
table thing.
Yeah, exactly. And we it +1 to bear pairs, which is what another group of ours that bought it too after we played it. They were saying like this should be called bear pairs because like that like is a recurring theme almost every time we play it. Like I want those bears. I want those bear pairs. It's just awesome. Yeah. Oh, and I think I told Randy, the designer, that on my interview with him, actually. So,
and Randy's great. I enjoyed talking to Randy when he came on our channel, and I'll just tell you, yeah. And by the way, Beth Sobel art. I mean, come on, I'm a sucker for Beth Sobel art. I admit that. If I see Beth Sobel's name on something, like who, immediately. Yeah, for me, this one, it's a winner. It is a game that will get played a lot year over year over year, and physically on a table. I just love picking up the pieces, setting them on the board, kind of building this. It's got enough flexibility in a game. It's not as tight as Calico, but you still need to be really strategic, because if you're too loosey goosey, you're not going to win. If you're all over the place with it, you're just not going to. So to me, you've got to come in. I almost think like starting to build that strategy out very early on. And if you try to flex too much, you're going to cost yourself the game. But I love this game. I adore it. And here it is. It's my number 3.
So this is the highest rated one on your list that I have not played yet.
Well, we will solve that.
Wow.
We will solve that.
That's a travesty right there.
I believe you've played my number 2 and my number 1.
I have. Yeah.
So my number 2. Well, it gives away immediately, so I'm just going to say it. My number 2 was my number 1 last year.
Oh.
And that is Scythe.
Yeah.
Scythe is designed by Jamie Stegmaier, Stonemaier Games. It's a 2016 game. And when I talk about Scythe, let me be very clear. I mean Scythe, the collective whole. When you talk about the ability to play, say, Rise of Fenris, which is a phenomenal campaign expansion, and all the other games that come in the Scythe world. It's area control. You've got different board combinations, though there are some illegal boards that they've since banned because I realized they were a little OP. But I adore the way that in this game you are playing to accomplish really getting 6 stars. And in doing so, you're all going to have to take different manners to do it. You have a board that you take one action. If you could do the one action and you can also do the bottom action, you are going to be able to do that. And so you're really trying to pair your actions as effectively as possible. And for me, this game was one of the first big games I played in terms of the modern hobby. I had not got into those games all the time. This one sucked me in. I adore this game so much. I just, for me, it's just not gonna, I'll tell you right now, this will not leave my top 5 ever. I'm predicting that, and hold me to it if I ever change that. But this one for me, it's just too meaningful. I will always want to play this game, provided I have the time. It's not a short game, and the Fenris campaign cemented it as a top 5 game for me for time, period. But Scythe is it's a heavy game at times. There is a little battle, but please don't buy this game if you like battling, because that's really not what it's about. The biggest complaints I hear is, oh, it's area control. Where's the fighting with our mechs? You've got these cool mechs. That's not the point. You're not playing the right game.
That was a cool voice you just did.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, wow.
That's your. We gotta trademark that. Yeah. Keep going.
What do we call that? Like the angry
Chris
gamer?
Barrow's try hard. Right? That's the term I keep hearing, the try hard. So, yeah.
Well, this game though, I adore this game. I play this game. I will play this game anywhere if anyone wants to play it. And I'm very excited about Expeditions.
Yeah.
Which is going to be coming. I have it on Steam, so if anyone wants to play, like, I'll set up a game. But yeah, this is by the way, it's actually really good on the iPad app. For surprisingly really good on the iPad app. But yeah, that is Scythe. That was my number 1 last year. It is my number 2 this year, which is telling at this point about what my number 1 is. But yeah, Scythe, number 2.
Jamie's mentioning that she's going to do some painting of some of the minis.
Oh yeah, I got to get the metal ones eventually is my goal. So
yeah. Riley, have you played Scythe?
Haven't. And so I did the same thing with Arnak, is that it was available on BGA. People invited me to play, and I was like, no, the first time I play this has to be in person.
Yeah.
Like I anticipate loving this game, and I want the full experience. And so it's been on my list almost as long as I've liked board games, and I somehow haven't bought it, or I don't know. I don't know what's stopping me, but
I do. I like it. I got rid of it because I know everyone has it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, if I want to play it, I'm gonna need a good player count, and I know someone's going to have it. So I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
what's it best at?
I
probably
like it
4.
I like it at 4. I'll play with
Yeah.
3, but I like it at 4.
Yeah,
You
because
want
there's not really a lot of battles, like he's saying, but you do want that interaction at some point.
and the
Because you can
battles.
really just do your own thing.
Yeah, the battles are you're gonna fight over a space. You're gonna pick but you might be trying to get your combat up to a certain number so you can get a star for reaching it. But at the same time, one of the things to get stars, you could win a battle. So, and there's one of the people might be able to actually win 2 battles. So it's a thing you could do, but battling's not ever your focus. Like you might do it, but you're not going to be like looking out there just to destroy. Because if you were so focused on battling everybody, you're going to lose because you're going to miss out on all the other things you need to get done. But
Nice.
we can definitely if you haven't played by the time I get in person with you, we'll fix it.
Sounds good.
We'll get to the table. But my number 1, this will surprise
no one
who knows me. I played this game 114 times in 2022. 114 times. That is the beautiful, the wonderful, the masterpiece. That is Targi. And I know there's a theme here. I understand that. I don't care. This game, to me,
we looked it up. We did a whole video. We looked it up.
I know, but I don't care. Mechanically, the things you do in this game, it's a brilliant game. The idea of playing workers down and then getting the cross section, the board being the cards, the variable of collecting these resources in a head-to-head duel, a little bit of take that has to happen no matter what. But it's take that, but you don't really. It's not personal. You don't have a choice. You got to win the game, right? And to me, the beauty of this game is simply the fact that every game is so different. Like it's 114 games in 2022. And I'll be honest, my winning percentage probably not what you think, because I play this one person who's very, very good, like ridiculously good. And I lose probably 2/3 of the time against him, but it makes me better against other people, I guess, or I hope. But I would hope, but I love it every time. And what's neat about this one is if it's the first time you're playing the game, you can use like these friendly kind of sides that kind of tell you what the actions mean with words. But after that, you flip it over and you know what all the things mean. Like, oh, okay, I have
it's clear iconography.
Yeah, it's very clear. Rachel asking, by the way, have I blinked my copy out? Oh, hell yes.
Yeah.
I have blinked out my expansion, which honestly kind of plays like a different game. It's very good. I really like it.
What was that expansion called?
Targi the expansion.
Targi the expansion. Yeah,
it's solid naming.
I just have to.
It's Targi the expansion. It is, but for me, this is a 2-player tug of war theme. You know, looking for a theme with me. There it is. It's a tug of war, but it's just I don't know what it is about this game. It's beautifully simple yet extremely tough and strategic. And to master this game, to me, is an art. Like I just think knowing how you can play off and bounce back from, oh man, that's what came out, because the gold is limited, or you have to trade your goods to get the gold, but you need the gold to buy certain cards. And at every one of those corners, if you don't have goods, or at the end of the game gold, you're going to lose points. So you really got to have a balance of resources, including that gold, and ultimately to come out on top in this game. There's a thrill to it. And I've had games where it's super close in terms of like 36, 35, 40, 39. I saw a high score, actually. Someone scored against me. I think it was like 48 points. I didn't even know you could do it. And it was insane. My mind was blown. But yeah, this game is my number 1. It surprises no one probably at this point, especially after seeing Scythe. And yeah, Targi 2 is a front runner for a sequel. Well, technically, by the way, they made another. I actually forgot what they called it. It's not available in the United States. They made another thing that adds more stuff, and it probably could have been Targi more stuff. I mean, and it
Targi
would
More
have
Stuff
worked
edition.
perfectly fine. So,
Riley,
yeah,
you played this one?
Yeah, I have. I played it quite a bit. I like it a lot. It probably wouldn't make my top 10, but I do enjoy it quite a bit.
I know why, Chris, you like this game as your number one. I know exactly why. This game is you in a nutshell. That's why it's your number one, right? It ticks off all the Chris Barrows. I love this game boxes. First, two-player, easy setup, very straightforward rules, extremely tactical. You always have to change your moves because everyone is blocking you at some point. And by everyone, it's only one other person, right? But it feels like a dance. It feels a little bit like in board game form. This is like a dance where you're going up against your partner. And yeah, this game just screams your name. Like this makes total sense why this is your number one and not Scythe anymore. Because this is a game that you're not getting tired of. There's still plenty of replayability, even with the base game alone, because the cards that come out that make that board always constantly change. And you really have to just pivot and change your strategy as much as possible based on the board state as well as the other players. So absolutely makes sense why it's your number one.
What are the blinged out? Oh, go ahead.
By the way, the game that is not in the United States is Targi Die Bonus Box.
Ah.
Oh, that's right.
And it's new edge cards and action cards to add more variety to Targi. I don't care if I get a copy that's not in English. I will translate the crap out of that and add it to my collection.
Is that like the license plate, the?
And it adds a solo mode. That's the reason I want it.
Mm.
Oh, solo mode Targi. Yeah, I love this game.
What are the blinged out? What are the blinged out components then?
Oh, so the tiles are these really nice, like I don't know,
they're acrylic.
Yeah, like acrylics.
Yeah, they're the geek metal bits upgrade.
Yeah, and then there's like metal, like some metal bits for how many victory points you have, because you're gonna get them along the way, and yeah, it's so pretty.
Bowls of dates and salt and pepper or whatever.
It's so delicious.
yeah, that's it. But that, my friends, is my top 20. So Targi takes number one. Scythe, Cascadia, Battlestar Galactica.
You gotta zoom out now.
Let's 5 rounds it up with Raiders on.
Oh yeah.
Can you zoom out? Control minus.
Oh yeah.
The whole top 20 in there.
There we go.
Boom.
Bam.
So that is my top. Yeah. By the way, Rachel talked about Targi tiles, metal point thingies.
Yeah. That's probably like what it would be called if it was sold by the people who made Targi, right? Targi, the metal pointy thingies and acrylic tiles. That's what the.
Oh man.
I can list what didn't make it if people want to know.
Yes, let's hear it.
What did I miss from that?
So the 6 that got booted out.
Ooh, 6.
Yeah. We know cartographers. Clink in space.
Yep, thank you.
And Rolling Realms.
Rolling Realms.
So then we've got Wingspan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
Port Royal. And Clans of Caledonia.
Oh, yeah. Clans of Caledonia.
And let me talk to Wingspan. I have played the hell out of Wingspan. I still think it's a fine game, but I have played base Wingspan so many damn times that I need to play because I have the physical expansions, but I played base Wingspan so many damn times. I needed a break from it, and it like wore on me. And I still think it's a phenomenal game in terms of what it's meant for the hobby. But for me, after a while, I was like, I have other games that I can build out tableaus and stuff that I enjoy a little bit more. So it leaves Port Royal. I simply didn't get a chance to play.
There's hashtag, by the way, Chris hates birds.
No.
That makes sense.
I don't hate birds.
Have you done the duet yet? Or the Asian expansion?
No. Added? And I want to try the 2-player version to see what Yeah, I know.
Looks good. I'm excited. You can see the big box. Oh wait, no, you can't. All right, well.
I will note,
oh, there it is.
I will note, just so you know, Port Royal, I have the big box. I love Port Royal. Port Royal's sitting around like number 25 right now. So Port Royal, a lot of love for Port Royal, and they've got a solo mode that I'm itching to dig into. So Don't hold Port Royal out too. It may not be gone for very long. The one that I can almost guarantee, as long as I get to play it properly, Wonderland's War will be on the top 20 next year, is my prediction for myself, because I think all I need to do is play it 2 or 3 times. I really enjoyed it, and it skyrocketed in. So,
Yeah.
oh, Rachel, by the way, saying Asia cards are so powerfully mixed in, breathes life into the game. Okay, that's welcoming to me. So I'll have to try that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's such a daunting task to make a top 20 because even games outside of top 20, like you still probably really enjoy. Like you're just talking about how much you like Port Royal. It's just you got to narrow it down to 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And depending on the day, you might be like, I would rather play number 30 than number 1 right now. Like
this. If you came to me with a game on this list and we had the time allotted that was needed, I would play any of these. That's the big thing about these 20. But I want to say thank you to everyone for joining. Right, I think your video is our next.
It's on Monday.
On Monday, but before Monday, we will have a special video dropping, and I want people to be on the lookout. I will certainly make a post about it. We'll share it on the Discord. The YouTube channel will make a post, but I believe we have Danielle's top 20 dropping prior to as well. We did a recorded segment for that one, and so that's going to drop. And then the last but not least, Anthony will be doing his top 20. So
next Thursday.
Yeah. So all of the Tabletop Express team has shared their top 20, and we can't wait. I just got to say, thank you everybody for tuning into this. Really appreciate it. And I would love to see you all, kind of share your favorite games throughout this process. And thanks for chiming in on ours. So
Riley, big thanks, by the way, to Riley.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm going, Riley. Thank you so much. Appreciate you joining. What, anything good coming up? I obviously 100 episodes is a big deal. Anything else in the mix?
I think that's pretty much it right now. Is that I'm starting a semi-regular stream. I think it might be every other week with Board Game Grand. So that'll be a fun. We're just geeking out though. So like
that's great.
Some of it'll be board games. Some will do comic books or movies or whatever it is. So
nice.
And then I've got Friend Info, which is an actual play of the Borderlands TTRPG. I love doing that. That releases every other week. Though it's explicit, so it's
right. So it's Borderlands.
Not safe for work.
Not safe for work, exactly. But yeah, episode 100, I'm really excited to do with Kimmy, and we're going to talk about our con experience. We played 15 games, and I think all of them were fun. So should be a good time, and so many cool people. And I guess I got permission to talk about some upcoming stuff that I got to play test there. So that I don't think has been revealed, maybe, as far as I know. So
secrets.
Teases.
All the reason to tune in right there.
Yeah.
Well, Riley, thank you again. Appreciate you being a part of this. Thank you everyone for joining. We know these 20 games is a lot to hear about, and we appreciate hanging out with us. On that note,
if you like hanging out with us, go on to our Discord.
That. I love it. And if you do like hanging with exactly that, come hang out. We got a great Discord, a lot of great conversations happening in there. We would love to talk to you there, and we do some special things from time to time, special streams, and then our patrons on occasion get the like super secret probation streams. So a lot of good stuff happening. I had to make the reference.
Yeah, I dig it.
With that note, I'm going to thank everyone for being here. Going to pop my list up one more time, and we're going to rock out to a little bit of Tabletop Express music because that's what we do here. Thank you, everybody.